Okay, guys. Good afternoon to everyone. As mentioned by Joe, we have to have some time for ourselves, and we need some escape from this VUCA world that we live in, especially at work. And in HR, we do sometimes have to take care of ourselves, just like what she shared with us. We've learned a lot from the last three segments. And I will not take much of your time. I would like to introduce to you our special guest for this afternoon. He will talk about great escape options that HR teams can go to so that they can relax. Tama na yung mountain hiking or beachneering or mountaineering. We'll talk about something else. I'd like to introduce to you our speaker for this afternoon, the host and executive producer of WreckHunter. It's being shown in ANC, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Mr. Wowie Wong. Hi, Wowie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice to meet you.
It's
How
a
are you?
pleasure to be with you, Wowie. How are you today?
Oh, very, very well. Actually, I was looking forward to this day to share what we have
Yeah,
underwater.
yeah, I know. It's also my dream. It's in part of my bucket list that I'll be able to do what you do.
It's easy because, you're in the perfect place. When you think about the underwater world,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard about the Coral Triangle, which we are a part of. So the Coral Triangle would have the best of the best of species, diversity, all in this Coral Triangle. Now, there's this just but the latest study, maybe probably about 10 years ago, it was declared that within this coral triangle, the most diverse place is actually the Verde Island Strait, which is
Oh.
2.5 hours from us. You're already there. So when you say it is the richest in the world, that
We
I
have
would
it?
say that almost, well, more than 80 to 90% of the world's underwater creatures are born here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, diba?
It's amazing. Why do we all leave or travel outside the country? Right?
Exactly the point. Yes, when we just have it
We'll,
right here in our backyard.
we'll definitely get in touch with you after this talk. But I have a few questions to you, Wawi,
Please,
that our viewers will definitely be welcoming to learn from you. The first question is, what prompted you to go into diving?
well, the funny part here is when I learned how to scuba. Well, before I decided, I never really knew how to swim. In fact, I was just sharing with Miss Ari a while ago that I actually drowned 3 times when I was a young boy. But there was a point when I saw Boracay in the early 90s, and it was so beautiful. And yet I didn't know how to dive and swim. I had a salvavida just
Mm, yeah,
going
yeah.
through the water. And then after a while, I got into work. It was a stressful time for me back in the IT days. That's why you'll see the permanent effect, right? I've lost all my hair, and to dilute myself with stress, I found solace going into the water, scuba diving. So I learned the trade, and it was just but amazing. So that was my way to distress myself every weekend during my early days 2 decades ago.
Okay. Do you still do that every weekend now, or
Well, not
every other week at least?
may for now. It's happening like once a month because of
Once-
we're all coming from the pandemic, but
Mhm,
yeah, we're
mhm.
all going back, and it's just but amazing, especially that we are in the Philippines. It truly is, but the best.
Yeah. Speaking of that incident of yours in during your younger years, where you got drowned for in 3 times, do you need to learn how to swim before you start doing diving?
Yeah, the typical question. You don't need to.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's a totally different skill. Swimming is learning how to float.
Yeah.
Diving is learning how to sink, right?
Oh yeah.
And the best part here is that I'm sure some of you have already tried learning how to swim. And once you do, I'm sure that you'll be able to drink a lot of water. But you know what? In scuba, you don't get to drink any water at all because 100% of the time you have air in your mouth coming from
Okay.
your tank. So it's so safe, you know. And that's how amazing it is. You don't need to learn how to swim at all.
Okay, guys. So that's a first tip that Wowie is telling us. You don't have to learn how to swim because you need to sink.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah. Um, quickly from Manila, let's say, where is the best part where you can start learning to dive?
Oh, well, I would say 99% of Filipinos, scuba diver Filipinos, were born in Anilao.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that is the best place where we can all learn how to dive. It's 2.5 hours drive from Manila. There are over 60 dive sites in Anilao, and I would say that it is a place I call world class. We
Oh yeah.
have beautiful coral gardens, and Anilao is much famous for the small creatures. Yeah,
Mm.
for underwater photographers, that's a haven for. Well, it's more of a like collector's item. If you could
Mm.
find these nudibranchs that we're famous of in
Mm.
Anilao, so they're
Mm.
these colorful uh, slugs with no
Mm.
shells. They're
Mm.
amazingly beautiful and super colorful. I would say that if you dive somewhere, let's say in a different country, for every 10 dives, you'll probably find one nudibranch. In Anilao, for every dive that you have, you should at least find anywhere 10 to 20 nudibranchs per dive.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. But next to my question is, do you need to learn how to dive in a pool before going to the sea?
It depends on your comfort level. Now, once you learn how, if you want to get into, into scuba diving, now you would have to talk to your dive instructor. There
Uh-huh.
are choices where, of course, the pool should always be there, but in cases where there are no pools, you can go
Mm-hmm.
directly to the sea, but only on the
Ah, okay.
shoreline to do,
Okay.
to do your skills training, and after
Mm-hmm.
which you go deeper and deeper and deeper,
Okay.
exploring our underwater world.
Yeah. Okay, that's lovely. Before I do my next couple of questions, Wawi, I believe you have prepared for us a short video that we can share to everyone.
Oh,
How
sure.
amazing diving is.
Well, what we have right here is a footage from Cebu. It was one of my team's project for Philippine Airlines about 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, just to showcase how beautiful Cebu is because it's truly diverse being in Cebu. Go ahead, please.
All right, let's watch it. thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
that video that you prepared for Philippine Airlines and for us. How deep were those dives?
There were varying places. Those ones you see with the small fish, sometimes anywhere from 20 to 60 feet deep. When we went to the wrecks, I will be 80 to about 150 feet deep. And when you saw the treasure shark, we're very famous for the treasure sharks in Malapascua. That
Mm.
would be 120 feet deep. Yeah, it's
How
amazing.
long can you stay on that deep before you have to
Well,
be on top? Yeah.
well, basically depends on your skill level. So if you are very trimmed and you know how to move around the currents, you
Yeah.
could I would say a tank should last you about an hour on the average. All right,
Okay.
the
Okay.
shallower you are, the longer time you'll have with it. The deeper you go, the shorter time you'll have. You'll have time to go scuba diving.
Yeah. That's okay. I remember the scuba divers during Ironman in Cebu. They're taking photos above for all of us swimming,
Ah,
trying to survive the swim.
wow, you're an Iron Man. All right.
Yeah, I'm doing again an Ironman in August. So yeah,
Oh, good luck. My wife also is an Iron Man. Man.
I know, I know, I know. Yeah, she's one of the famous ladies in the Ironman scene, and you are in the diving scene.
Yes, yes.
Both love waters, yeah. Okay.
Amazing waters.
Yes. Uh, Another question, by the way, and I would like to welcome our viewers to put in their questions for Wowie. We'll try to answer them for you. For those who are interested, what kind of preparations do they need to have or they need
I see.
to do?
Well, it's quite easy. If in case you're not sure, well, is this a thing for me or not?
Hmm.
There's
Hmm.
this thing we call as discovery dive or introductory dive. So all you have to do is go to any dive resort. So much there's a lot in Batangas. Just book for a dive instructor or a dive master saying that I would like to have a chance to see whether it's a good thing for me or not. All right. So
Hmm. Hmm.
basically, they'll dress you up as a complete in complete scuba gear, but
Okay.
you won't be managing the controls. They'll be controlling your BCD
Ah,
for you.
okay.
So it feels as if like you're riding a car, but you're only on the passenger seat. So they'll do
Okay.
the all the controls and just watch. And if you love it, they always give you a package on, uh, you know, giving you a certification on the first level,
Hmm.
which is open
Hmm.
water. So it's that
No,
simple.
that's simple, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
well.
that simple.
So guys, it's one of the escapes that we can do. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, forget about having coffee after work. Let's dress down, go to the nearest, which is Anilao, and let's try diving this time. Marami sa atin kasi we do what beer,
Well,
beer
you can also
binging.
do the same while you're after each dive, di ba?
Yeah, why not? Why not? I'll take note of that, Wawi.
Yeah, have it
I'll
ready in
do
the
that.
boat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, anything that you'd like to share with us, aside from the questions that I've raised already, anything that you'd like to tell us
Well,
about ANC's WreckHunter?
oh, well, sure. Well, my team and I, we have a series in. Well, it's ANC. It's also in I Want TFC, showing around the world. All right. It's called WreckHunter. So basically, the story revolves around shipwrecks we have in our country, and we featured five important ones here. There's one in Anilao, there's one in Coron, well, two in Coron, and one in Subic, one in Palawan, and some of them revolves around love stories, history from World War
Mm,
II,
mm,
and all of them had stories. These ships had stories when they were still above water, and when they were sunk, well, we're going to tell you about the new story that the new story that they have given underwater for
Mm.
marine life.
Mm.
It's amazing. So once you see those shipwrecks, they're covered in thick corals where new fish actually lay eggs on, where they hide to survive. Well, then a new ecosystem emerges from there. It's an
Yeah.
amazing story. So if you
Yeah.
can, please do watch.
The way you're telling us those stories, parang, yeah, we're really amazed already without watching the segment yet. But I have a question from Miss Joanne. Is there a
Yes.
limit for those who want to start diving?
Is there a limit?
Age limit?
Oh, there's no age limit. I have colleagues. Well, the oldest one I know is almost 90 years old, still
Wow.
scuba diving in Anilao. It's because it's that safe. It's not as if you're in triathlon. You have to be quite fit to do all of these things. But basically, when you go scuba diving, you're just floating in water. How hard is that? You're just navigating through the waters, and as you go through the corals, your engagement with the creatures, it's all as if you're just walking in a garden, right? Just having this beautiful interaction with them. One of those lovely interactions I could never forget would be with I think it was a 30-foot long whale shark in Tubata.
Wow.
Just 30-foot long, and here I was, so small, and I was
Yeah.
just 2 feet away from its eye. And you know that I am feeling him and he's feeling me, or just watching each other, amazed by how we
That
coexist.
close, that
Yes,
close encounter you had. Yeah.
exactly. It's not typical, when you're above water, but you get to meet the biggest creatures here. I
Yeah.
mean, the top predators, lions, diba? Cheetahs. I doubt if you'll live in the next hour if you meet them, no. But when you're underwater, you're very safe. A lot of people think sharks are scary. In fact, they're not. They're, you know, as I would always say, kung gaano katakot ang tilapia among us, it's the same with them. They're just bigger.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. 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 Again, guys, let's thank Wowie. Let's give him a warm applause for giving us a lot of information about scuba diving, and we can all start from scratch. Walang age limit.
and it's never too
Quick,
late.
yeah, never too late. Quick getaway, Anila Batangas, as he said. And again, Wowie, thank you very much for gracing
Maraming
this
maraming
segment.
salamat, John.
Maraming salamat sa'yo. On to you, John. Thank you.